Hello and welcome to my channel. So straight off the bat, I'm an unpublished independent Nintendo developer and have absolutely no association to the Nintendo intellectual properties. Everything that looks and seems and is a Nintendo intellectual property is their intellectual property, and anything novel or interesting that they find from this video or the series, they are free to use as they wish. So what is this? This is, well, in fact, no. Let me give you the long story. So 8 years ago, I'm watching an advert. I'm watching a Nintendo Direct. It comes up with an advert for Smash Bros on the 3DS. It's the sickest advert that I've seen for anything. My favorite character in the world, Link, presented in my favorite format, an anime version. There's fights, there's weapons. It was literally the best thing I'd ever seen, ever. Like a couple minutes of it. So then I go to watch it. I'm like, oh, I need to see that again. The direct was like an hour or whatever. I'm like, I got to see this again. I type it in, boom, boom, boom. It's not up there. And if any of you have seen the network, you'll know about the. I'm looking. I'm thinking, somebody's got to upload it, download it. And a voice pops into my head like, you should do it. And I'm like, why should I do it? And it's like, because you're a video editor. I was like, I am a video editor. So I was living with my mum at the time, her old house. Got my laptop out, ripped it, put it up online. And yeah, effectively, I think that, this is just me looking into it, but that Nintendo Direct, that was the last Nintendo Direct that I saw that now when you watch them, it's clear that they upload all of their segments beforehand, put them on private, do their direct, and then as soon as their direct is off, they put all the private videos onto public, and so as soon as direct's finished, you can go up and you can see them. So I think that, I don't know, somehow, or for I'm not even going to try and guess, ultimately they let me keep my video up for whatever reasons. And so, that was like 8 years ago, and I think that everybody who saw that was hoping that some sort of Smash Bros anime or something would happen, and it hasn't happened. And because that video is on my channel, obviously I just see that a lot of people have the same love for both Nintendo, anime, the merge of the two, and Link. And so now I'm here. What's the now about? What am I doing right now? What's this Smash Bros anime thing? Now really what this is about the innovation of artificial intelligence as it relates to storytelling and the development of transmedial products. So my name's Vince Southblessed. I am a transmedial producer and a creative technologist. So what that basically means is that for transmedial producer for 20 plus years and creative technologist for about 6 or 7 years. So as a transmedia producer, I'm interested in how stories are told across the mediums. Films, music, comics, animations, games, those are like the classic transmedia ones. As a creative technologist, I play with things like holograms, haptics, all that kind of stuff, got into coding. So now artificial intelligence has completely changed the game in the way that everything is to be done. So I have previously sponsored the biggest anime con in the UK, like Anime Only Con. I used to do 2 to 3 workshops at every single one. So there's a lot of workshops that I did over the last 10 years that relates to storytelling, comic development, building transmedial worlds. And I know that every single thing that I've learned over the last 20 years, though it will remain important, all of that is about to change because of how artificial intelligence works. Now, I know that a lot of individual artists have their issues, and if anybody cares about my opinion on that, then leave a comment and I'll go into it. But ultimately, I've always been a transmedial producer. I've always come from the angle that I want all of these multiple worlds and all the skills that I've built up, to get to that point. Over 10,000 hours in camera work, only over 10,000 hours in comic development, 34 comics published physically. I mean, let's see what I've got here. So this is just as a little, like, these are the trading cards. Let's see yeah, these are my trading cards that go with my story worlds that I've built. Got into games, game design. Game design is how I got into the creative technologist aspect of it. So that was how I kind of got into the coding and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, everything that I've learned is highly, highly valuable. But because my aim has always been to create transmedial worlds, I've always had this feeling like I actually like the grandioseness of it, the fact that it's such a huge ordeal to create these things, the story worlds that I enjoy, the hundreds and thousands of people that go into making those things. So I've always had the aim like I'm going to make it, but I've always kind of looked at it mathematically like this is going to take my whole life to get like one episode out of like a full-blown anime or whatever. Yeah. So when I see artificial intelligence, I see the opportunity to actually complete what it is that I set out to do at the beginning, which is to have all of these things in a different place. So what I want to do with this Smash Bros anime is effectively, I want to go through the process of designing a Smash Bros anime. So that's characters, character development, storylines, episode structures, and choreograph all of the fights. And just set it out. So it's not necessarily about waiting for some kind of crazy new generative artificial intelligence that can create anime. That's not what it is. It's to use all of these tools, and then that's like the narrative side. And then on the creative technology side, basically, seen a couple of my videos beforehand, I'm using artificial intelligence to help me code. And so what I want to do is I want to create tools for explaining, showing, and presenting transmedial worlds. So one thing that I've always felt, so if imagine, yeah, I'm making comics, I'm making games, right? And I've got two story worlds. So I've got story world A and story world B. Now, my computer is a mess because I kind of, on one hand, I want like one folder that just has the story world, and then inside of the story world would have like comics and game stuff. But then I always also want like folders that have comics, and then I can go into my comics and see the different ones in there. So displaying transmedial information is very, it's just techie basically. So I'm going to be creating tools as I'm developing this Smash Bros anime, and they're going to be tools that I can use throughout all of my transmedial processes. So that's basically what I'm doing. As a fan, you know, Nintendo's my favorite company in the world alongside Shonen Jump. So Smash Bros anime, you know, that's dealing with both of them. And then also I'm teaching myself how, you know, furthering my coding by creating these tools. So the first thing that I've made to start off this thing is this thing here, which is just something to go through and show characters here. So, you know, this would be where you just put your roughs in, and then as you can see, you've got Bowser description. So it's just getting the names, and, you know, effectively, this is something that maybe beforehand I could have coded, but the way that the artificial intelligence has helped me code this is effectively, this is dynamic. So whereas beforehand, I might have been able to like physically just make this particular output, but the way that this is created is done in a way where I can just add more images and add more text into a folder, and it's going to be able to rip them instantly. The descriptions, I can just go and change a text file and it will bring up those descriptions here. So this is the first little tool that I've just made for displaying character information. So now let's get into Smash Bros anime. Right. This is inspired obviously by that Link versus Pit. So the one thing that has to happen in this Smash Bros anime is that particular sequence. That particular sequence has to remain in there. Every other thing is up for debate, negotiation, and creation. So, you know, I would love for people, especially all of those of you who are on the Link versus Pit video comments, to help me to develop the storyline with this. But if nobody does, I am very, very happy to indulge in this. It's been so fun already. So I'm going to show you where I am right now with it. So where I first started off is, I know I kind of had a couple of ideas of like what I wanted to happen, little link ups, little certain things. So just to go over a couple of things that were in my mind. One, I was thinking, all right, so I looked, and just to check the character list. because I know there's always DLCs. So it's like, all right, 80 plus characters across all of them. So in an anime series, this is going to be a good 5 or 6 seasons. I suspect will probably be the shortest that this could be done in a way that I'd be satisfied with. So with that in mind, I was thinking probably what this is going to need is more than one main character. Like, I think that it needs about 5 main characters. So that's the first thing, that if anybody does want to interact with, who do you think should be the 5 main characters? Now, I'm thinking that it should be, as you can see, I haven't got all the characters on here yet, but I think the main characters should be Mario, Link, Kirby, Samus, and Fox, who I haven't got on here yet either. So that's who I think the five main characters should be. Who do you think the 5 main characters should be? The other thing that I was thinking is that I think that it should go like, you know, obviously I'm not actually Nintendo, so I don't care too much about having to get everybody's license to make this. So I'm saying every character from every world should be present at some point in this game. So, you know, just to quickly scan who they're gonna, I know like Snake, Metal Gear, not Nintendo. That's going to be techie when it comes to the contracts, you know, that kind of stuff. But so even though I don't really care about that because that's not my concern, what I'm thinking is that really the main stories should be occupied by Nintendo-based characters first of all, and the characters that are outside of Nintendo, that they should have a little bit less time and have a little bit more of a cameo. And I mean, do you know what? To be honest, I think you see what them lot did with the Sonic movie, you know, and they made the changes because the community spoke. Come on, if everybody was demanding an anime, a Smash Bros anime, like hopefully it could get made. So to be honest, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, we got to use every single character, but if we make it so that it's Nintendo heavy, and that the characters that aren't Nintendo associated are more 1 episode cameo, little 2-3 episode spin-offs, maybe even fillers at some points, that might actually lean towards something that might actually physically get made. So what do you lot think about that? Do you think that actually I'm missing an opportunity to have a Sora, Kazuya, Ryu, have, you know, they would all make super sick storylines. So yeah, tell me what you think about that. Like, am I actually looking too deep into it and missing out on a chance to create a better story by thinking like that? Or am I kind of leaning in, you know, does it actually make sense what I'm saying? So those were a couple of the little, the warm-up thoughts that I had. And then I had some more specific things about actual narrative, but we'll get into that in a second. Because first of all, what I tried was just to see, without me putting any of the input in there, I just wanted to see, you know, what the, how this AI was thinking about this kind of stuff and what it thought would make a good anime with it. And it was, you know, it was pretty generic. I said, okay, what did I say? I was like, yeah, make one as if Mario was the main character. And it came through with, in a Smash Bros anime, Mario is a cheerful and heroic plumber who lives in the Mushroom Kingdom with his brother Luigi and Princess Peach. The story follows Mario as he travels to different worlds and battles against powerful enemies in order to defend the Mushroom Kingdom and other realms from danger. Along the way, he encounters a variety of characters from different franchises, including Bowser, Donkey Kong, Link, and Pikachu. As the main protagonist, Mario is always ready to lend a helping hand and use his strength and agility to defeat evil wherever it lurks. He is armed with his trusty jumping and fireball abilities, as well as a variety of power-ups and items that he can use to his advantage in battle. The Smash Bros. Anime story arc sees Mario and his friends facing off against a new threat, a mysterious organization known as the Subspace Army, which is attempting to take over all of the different worlds. As the group travels from world to the next, they must fight against the Subspace Army minions and uncover organization's true motives. Along the way, they also encounter rival characters who challenge them to intense battles and test their skills. As the story progresses, Mario and his friends must use all of their strength and determination to defeat the Subspace Army and save the day. With epic battles and thrilling plot twists, Smash Bros. Anime is sure to be a hit with the fans of Super Smash Bros. Series and anime fans alike. Now, very, very generic. Different franchises. Bowser's the same franchise. Now, this is what I specify, but it's talking about the Subspace Army, which is obviously an already established Smash Bros. Plot. So I didn't tell it to do something different, but the fact that it was the same, I was like, no, this anime is definitely not going to be an anime plot of one of the previous ones. So I was like, obviously not, but I just, just see what it's saying. It was just nice to read a little bit. I mean, I generally quite like the structure of how it done it. It's just not really saying anything interesting. I said the same thing, like, give me Link, is it? It did the exact same thing. The story follows Link as he travels across Hyrule and other realms, battling against powerful foes and searching for the Triforce. Okay, basically said the same thing with Link. So, this side of it, and I ain't gonna lie, like I'm saying, I'm playing with the artificial intelligence, but when the artificial intelligence doesn't work, slightly, I feel a little bit happy as well, because I am still very much here for the human ingenuity and genius, but it's all about the mix at the moment. So basically, I was like, okay, let me flesh out something, and then kind of work from there. But to get to that fleshing out point, started thinking about the previous Smash Bros. Lore. So effectively, from what I remembered, because I have got a couple of videos up now, but I haven't watched them because I thought, let me just make this. This is the first episode. It doesn't matter if I get things wrong or whatever. Then I'll go back and I'll properly rewatch. But effectively, from what I remember, it was like the initial Smash Bros. is like their toys, and it's a child playing with the toys, and it's the fight is the imagination, and the premise behind that was a debate within Nintendo about, should Mario really be banging up Pikachu? Like, is that really like Nintendo on brand? Is that what it is? Everybody trying to bat everybody up. Like, so they had that concept in there. So the master hand is like the child's hand. Then it develops, and then you get taboo, and so then that was meant to symbolize that the growing up. So now you playing with your toys is kind of like a taboo, and so that's kind of like the underlying subliminal. And then with Ultimate, that's where, like, I didn't really have one, and then I quickly checked, and everybody else was like, well, it's not quite clear, but there's interpretations, and that's what I'm saying. I'm going to watch those interpretations after this. But ultimately, all I do know is that the final boss, Galam, or however you pronounce it, that feathered structure is actually, if you look into the hierarchy of angels and how they're depicted in, I think, most Judeo religions, definitely Christianity. For those who don't know, angels actually look kind of nuts in the descriptions the actual descriptions of them. They look kind of crazy. And the highest angel, the angel that is right next to God, that just goes around God saying God's holy or something like that, that's what the boss of Ultimate looks like. So I remember hearing something, like, I can't pronounce his name, but the creator of Smash Bros. Begins with an S, that somehow it was like reflecting his negative feelings about being stuck making the same game. And I kind of took from that, it's almost like, so you've got this angel which is literally the right hand man of God, so it's almost like the god of the Smash Bros world kind of just told the angel to fuck everybody up, and that's the reason why Smash Bros Ultimate happens in that kind of way. So I was like, okay, so that's the general premise of the Smash Bros. Lore story narrative up until now. So where do I want to take it with it? And basically what I ended up thinking was, I want to make something that is kind of self-reflecting in the sense that if the original Smash Bros. Was about a child playing with a toy in his imagination, and that's what's happening, that's how the Smash Bros. Universe is going on, and then that playing becomes a taboo, and then it's kind of like a reflection of the creator having to keep making these toys effectively, then I want this Smash Bros. To be a subliminal about the creation of artificial intelligence and what happens when artificial intelligence gives everybody the power to create that toy, and what happens when everybody's imagination starts bleeding over into this space almost, you know? So it's kind of, you've gone from playing with the toy to being too old that you shouldn't be playing with toys, to I'm stuck making these toys forever, to everybody can make these toys. So now what does that mean? That was my initial thing. So this is what I wrote with that in mind. This is like a little summary of something. In the part of the multiverse when Mono Astra resides, absolute balance is paramount. It is not unusual for colors or even certain magnetic fluctuations to be outlawed in certain worlds. Still a desolate and regulated place, Talonless is one of the world's closest to the edge of Mono Astra, and so has heard many stories of the other worlds across the multiverse. Access to stories of such vivid and fantastical nature are kept to the 1% of the 1% of the whole of Mono Astra. And the transfer of these stories, is only allowed through oral tradition, of which has very strict tonal regimen. A portum is a young scientist from a long family of scientists on Talonless. Their job is to manufacture the tools for manufacturing across most of Mono Astra. Finalized a couple generations before a portum, a machine that creates machines that creates tools was perfected. Scrape. Smart, creative, robotic, artificial printing and engineering device. As long as you could think of what you need, the machine created microscopic machines that would build what you want, and with the Portum's family history and knowledge, an easy balance would be maintained for eons across Mono Astra, as no world or person within it would have to go without. But a Portum felt an emptiness. As a Portum received his training working alongside his family members, he was very unfulfilled as all challenges had been met. And unbeknownst to anyone, a Portum used Scrape to create animated entities to perform all the narratives collected in time. When a Portum became the head of his family, he made sure all duties were fulfilled, but also he used his authority to create underground facilities where acted out ever more basically, I writ he, I took out he because there's no reason for it to be a he or her at this stage. It might not even be like a humanoid like that. But, so, I'm just going to say it now because I'm just messing this up. Where he acted out ever more elaborate and energetic narratives. One day a Portum tried something that had never been done in the whole of Mono Astra. A fictional character was made. Through a set of events, this manufactured entity would come to realize that unlike all his brethren, he had no real narrative, and that his composition was just a collage generated from a dataset. A Portum, struck by awe as the unknown unfolded in front of him, let things go too far, and soon the entity became fully sentient and started devising plans to take over the whole multiverse. So that's what I got. You know, I had those thoughts beforehand. I plugged into the artificial intelligence like, hey, give me a sick little thing about artificial intelligence, like a story could be. And it just gave me a real basic one where it was just like an artificial intelligence went sentient. And I was like, you know what? As generic as that is, let me just rewrite one where the story is just an artificial intelligence gets sentient. Because ultimately, even within narratives, within characters in Smash Bros. That's obviously been done, but that's how I've set this premise up. That basically, you've got this world which is really, I see it as like, if you imagine all the different universes that are across the games in Smash Bros. At the center is a really kind of mundane and regulated place, which helps keep everything in balance. And in that, somebody has created a fictional narrative, which is the first in that particular universe, and it becomes sentient. And ultimately, what it wants to do is it wants to take over the multiverse so that it has its own definitive narrative. Now, this wouldn't be described in the anime anywhere like this. This is the foundation for me to kind of build up from. So, you know, at some point I will create a nice little thing like this for all of those kind of like narratives to go into, all the bits of lore, and a way to organize that kind of stuff. So once I had that, I plugged it in here, so idea A, and then the artificial intelligence went to continue it just because I pressed enter, and that's it was actually quite a nice happy ending they had, where he created the fictional character and everybody was like, why are you creating fictional characters? And then in the end they were like, oh great. But now one of the specific ideas, I've just in my head feel like that the first scene in the anime would be a chase between Samus and Star Fox. That Star Fox is chasing Samus for some reason, and they're having this super sick intergalactic chase. That was like one of my first instincts about like specific narrative pieces. So I feel like, yeah, like you get this, that it starts off with Samus, and that yeah, there's some sort of a chase going on. And the reason for this was just because I wanted a Star Fox and Samus chase anyway, but now it's at the start because it seems like that the anime is going to have a kind of technological foundation. The last couple of Smash Bros have had a very spiritual foundation, which I'm all here for. But yeah, this one seems to be having, it looks like it's going down a technical route. So, you know, thinking about all of the technical characters, I was like, okay, you know, you get to Mega Man and that's like Capcom. So primaries, Star Fox, Metroid Prime, this is how we're going to get things kicked off. So I took my narrative and I put it in, and it came up, and it was like it was following the structure beforehand. So it's like in the Smash Bros anime, Fox is a skilled pilot and leader of the Star Fox team and a group of mercenaries who are hired to defend the Lilat system from danger. When he receives a tip that a valuable and powerful artifact has been stolen, he sets out to track down the thief and bring them to justice. As Star Fox searches for the thief, he encounters Samus, a powerful bounty hunter from the Metroid Prime series. Samus is also searching for the artifact, but she claims that she needs it to investigate a dangerous threat that could affect the entire multiverse. Despite their differences, Fox and Samus are forced to team up, and when they realize that they're both being pursued by the Subspace Army, a group of malevolent artificial intelligences who are determined to get their hands on the artifact. As they flee from the Subspace Army, and fight to stay one step ahead, Fox and Samus begin to uncover the true purpose of the artifact and the role it plays in the mysterious threat that looms over the multiverse. As they journey from one world to the next, Fox and Samus must rely on their skills and determination to outwit their enemies and protect the artifact. Along the way, they encounter a variety of other characters from different franchises who join in their cause to help them on their quest. As the story unfolds, Fox and Samus discover that their artifact is connected to a powerful, mysterious, fictional character that was created on the distant world of Tanoles. This character, created by the brilliant scientist Aportum, holds the key to unlocking the true nature of the threat that hangs over the multiverse. Can Fox and Samus find a way to defeat the Subspace Army and uncover the secrets of the mysterious fictional character before it's too late? So there's a lot of things that I don't want in there, but that I was like, you know what? In terms of process, you know, in terms of like this, how transmedial process is so useful to know exactly what you don't want in there. So obviously, Subspace Army, that's not going to be a thing. I wanted it to start off with Fox chasing Samus. So that beginning bit is not how I wanted it. The threat is the character. It's not that the character knows something about the threat. So the threat is this fictional character come to life. But what I did like is I liked the idea of Fox and... Because I kind of imagined it as Fox and Samus, like Samus stole something from the Lilat system because it allowed her to get to Mono Astra, and that Samus already knew kind of something, like some kind of detection about this fictional character. And so that Fox effectively chases Samus into this next dimension, like into this universe of Mono Astra, and that they're both stuck in Mono, like they're like, that's where that part of the anime work, like they're actually in that world, and their whole thing takes place in there, and they're effectively trying to escape it or destroy, like that's how their thing. But it was an interesting idea that maybe actually what Fox and Samus are jumping from world to world together, and that they're actually the transport system, like they're the main connection between all the characters in the world and the transport system. So I was like, that would be interesting. That would be an interesting way to do it. But in using in terms of using ChatGPT, one thing that is a kind of like part of the flow and creative aspects of using it to develop both the coding that I found and in these narrative descriptions is when you want it to remember things and when you want to start again. So that's what I'm going to do here as an example. Because this is now remembering too much of those old things, like that original Mario and that original Link one that was super generic, the genericness is coming into this, and it's even laying it out in the same kind of way, which is obviously useful for when it's stuff that you want. But now I'm going to give it an attempt, and what I'm going to do is, so let's take this. So now let's say I am writing based on the characters from Broad Kings. This is my origin story for the bad guy, which is an AI. Can you write me a story of Fox from Star Fox chasing Samus from Metroid Prime? Can you write me a story from Star Fox chasing story of Fox from Star Fox chasing Samus from Metroid Prime, where Samus has stolen something from the Lilat system that allows her to get to the Mono Astra. How did I even spell it? Mono Astra to get to the Mono Astra universe. Cool. So what did I say here? Can you write me a story of Fox from Star Fox chasing Samus from Metroid Prime, where Samus has stolen something from the Lilith system that allows her to get to the Mono Astra universe? I'm writing a Smash Bros. Anime based on all the characters from the Smash Bros. Games. This is my origin story for the bad guy, which is an AI. Let's see what we get. Sure, here's a story about Fox from Star Fox chasing Samus. In the Lilith system, Samus Aran has just pulled off a heist of the century. She has stolen a rare and powerful artifact known as the Mono Astra Crystal, which is said to be able to grant access to the mysterious and dynamic Mono Astra universe. Samus knew that the crystal would fetch a high price from the black market, and she was eager to get away from the Lilith system as possible. But little did Samus know she was being tricked by the one and only Fox McCloud of the legendary Star Fox team. Fox was a skilled and cunning space pilot known for his quick reflexes and unrelenting pursuit of justice. When he learned that Samus had stolen the Mono Astra Crystal, he knew he had to bring her to justice. So Fox set off in pursuit of Samus, determined to catch her and bring her to the authorities. He chased her through the depths of space, following her every move with the help of his advanced air-wing ship. As the chase wore on, Fox began to close in on Samus. He could see her ship just ahead of him, and he knew that it was only a matter of time before he caught her. But just as he was about to close the gap, Samus made a sudden and unexpected move, disappearing into a nearby asteroid field. Fox knew that he couldn't follow her into the asteroids, but he also knew that he couldn't let her escape. So he came up with a daring plan. He would fly his air-wing straight through the heart of the asteroid field, relying on his advanced sensors and piloting skills to avoid the dangers lurking within. And so Fox flew his air-wing through the asteroid field, dodging and weaving throughout the tumbling rocks with ease. Finally, he emerged on the other side just in time to see Samus' ship disappearing into a wormhole. Without hesitation, Fox flew his air-wing into the wormhole after Samus, determined to bring her to justice no matter what. He emerged on the other side to find himself in the Mono Astra universe, a place of wonder and mystery that few had ever seen. And there waiting for him was Samus Aran, ready for the final showdown between good and evil. Okay, well, we know that's not going to work, because Samus is not stealing this to try and sell it on the black market. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not how that's going down. But, okay, so basically, what I was thinking generally with this AI is that this AI is a fiction, like it's disgusted with the fact that it's a fictional character. And so in that sense is obsessed with narrative in and of itself. So I really like the idea that the genius of the AI is its ability to merge the narratives of these worlds and kind of gets people to play against each other. So the actual Fox narrative, knowing what's happening, going in the asteroid field and that kind of stuff, I like that bit. It's just the reason why Samus was doing it. And so it's almost like what would be needed is like it needs to create these reasons. Because if you imagine, let's just say that it's got big and it's huge, and so now it has influence, now it has the ability to take over people, it can create all types of technology and that kind of stuff. So whatever bad guys or things we need access to, this thing would be able to do it. But I want it to have clever, for example, I know right now we're doing the Fox and the Fox and Samus, but the next thing I want to look at is going to be Mario and Donkey Kong. Because I really want to have this thing in the first series of it, which will be Mario and Donkey Kong getting into beef, but it's like them getting into beef after everything that's happened in every game. So it's like these characters who know when I first met you, you stole some chick, you were kidnapping people, had to come and get you. And then, you know, like they're aware of like they've had to race each other before and all those kind of stuff. So like them getting into beef with each other, but it being in the context that they've like gone through so much, what could make them get into beef now? But you would be able, like, you know, like this AI would be able to do it. Like, okay, Mario's probably got a bit of a complex over Peach, which obviously Donkey Kong has. Donkey Kong's relationship to Diddy Kong, having a whole island You know, whether it's about maintaining peace, whether it's about pitting Bowser as a more good guy in this series as to so make Mario's character look a little bit questionable and play like almost have it so maybe it's like it's Donkey Kong versus Mario where it's kind of leaning on Mario's kind of in the wrong, but Mario's in the wrong in a way where he's been fed misinformation about something that somehow feeds from the AI. So at this early stage, it's probably going to be quite hard to be able to lock down what that would be with Samus. Outside of maybe just that Samus actually does, like Samus is the initial person that detects a level of sentient AI that is like dangerous or something along that. But let's just ask ChatGPT generically. So write the story again, but rather than Samus stealing something for the black market, have her steal it because she has picked up something is wrong, and have it so that Fox thinks that Fox and his team have somehow been fed misinformation about Monoaster from AI, and that is why they did not want it used. Sure, here's a revised version. In the Lilith system, Samus Aran has picked up something strange on her scanners. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but she knew that something was off. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Samus sets her sights on the Monoastra Crystal, an ancient and powerful artifact said to be able to grant access to the mysterious and I cannot say that word. Damn. Enigmatic Monoastra universe. Samus knew that the crystal was heavily guarded and that she would have to be careful in order to get her hands on it, but she was skilled and resourceful bounty hunter, and she had a plan. She snuck into a high security facility where the crystal was kept, using her stealth and combat skills to evade guards. Just as she was about to make her escape with the crystal, she was confronted by Floxmus Cloud of the legendary Star Fox team. Fox was skilled and cunning space pilot, known for his quick reflexes and unrelenting pursuit of justice. When he learned that Samus had stolen the Monoastra crystal, he knew that he had to bring her to justice. But Samus had no intention of being brought to justice. She knew that the crystal was the key to discovering what was wrong in the universe, and she was determined to get to the bottom of it. So she fled, with Fox and his team in hot pursuit. As the chase wore on, Fox began to close on Samus, and he could see her ship just ahead of him. So we're going to go into the asteroid bit. So Fox through the airway, yeah. So then that goes to the same bit there. Okay. So this is where it is right now then, as a little intro. So she picks up something on the scanners. She doesn't quite know what it is. We'd have to figure out why they knew the crystals, and why they had it. So, okay, we got a little bit more here. So it was the same as beforehand. And so Flox flew his air wing through the asteroid field, dodging and weaving through the tumbling rocks with ease. Finally, he emerged on the other side just in time to see Samus's ship disappearing into the wormhole. Without hesitation, Fox flew his air wing into the wormhole after Samus, determined to bring her to justice no matter what. He emerged from the other side to find himself in the Mono Astra universe, a place of wonder and mystery few had ever seen. But as Fox and his team explored the Mono Astra universe, they began to realize that something was not quite right. The information that they had been given about Mono Astra had been fed to them by an AI, an artificial intelligence that had been manipulating the information to suit its own purpose. And as they delved deeper into the mystery, they realized that the AI was determined to keep them from uncovering the truth. In the end, it was up to Fox and Samus to team up and take down the AI in the final showdown that would decide the fate of the Mono Astra universe. Well, okay. So I kind of like how it worded that bit there, that they get there and that then at that point the audience would be aware that Fox actually knows about the Mono Astra universe based on probably the reason why they had that crystal in the first place, but they'd been fed some sort of misinformation. So I'm liking that idea, and maybe it's just down to that, access to the Mono Astra universe is about always going to be through space travel, using this crystal to be able to do it. The AI knows that the Lilac universe is the way in which all of these other universes will have access to it. So it's previously already fed information to the occupants of the Lilac universe, and it's established within their norms and their culture. So they've got myths and stories about the Mono Astra universe. And then when he gets there, it's like, oh, this isn't anything like what we thought it would be. So that could be something there. But okay, so basically the point that I wanted to get to with this particular episode is these, as you can see, one, I haven't got all the characters, but these descriptions are not filled in yet because I need a summary. The first thing that I'm going to complete is a summary of each character and what they're going to be doing in the anime. And so I wanted to, in this video, have enough of an idea that I can go back and write the description for Samus. And I'm pretty happy that I'll be able to do that with this. That effectively, okay, let's go. Let's say, write a 700 character description of Samus's involvement in this plot. Let's see what we get here. Samus Aran is a skilled and resourceful bounty hunter who's become involved in a plot to uncover the truth about the mysterious and Mono Astra universe. She became a key player in the story when she steals a Mono Astra crystal, an ancient and powerful artifact said to be able to grant access to the Mono Astra universe. Samus knows that the crystal was the key to discovering what is wrong in the universe, and she is determined to get to the bottom of it. She is pursued by Fox McCloud of the legendary Star Fox team, who was determined to bring her to justice. But as Fox and his team explore the Mono Astra universe, they begin to realize that something is not quite right, and that the artificial intelligence has been manipulating the information they have been given. In the end, it's up to Samus and Fox team to take down the AI in the final showdown, which will decide. Okay, we'll just take it from there. So now let's see if we can do this in real time. In fact, I am not going to be looking through all my stuff. Come on, what are you doing? This computer, do it here. Going through all my files. Let's see. Projects. Let's see. Smash Bro anime. Where is it? What's going on? Splatoon. There we go. And then cool. Come on. So here we go. Let's see if this works. So now we've got the Samus description. Oh. Now, let's go off. Get back in there. So we got. Okay, I'm gonna have to do, as you can see, I'm gonna have to do some playing around there, get some back. But you know, this is the journey that you're on with me. So if you're still here, I appreciate you watching. You know, do all the liking and subscribing that you like or subscribe to, and I will be making some more videos like this. I will be making more videos about me using the artificial intelligence to create different coding projects, and generally anything else that I find that is interesting. So I hope that you're having a blessed day, and whatever technology and tools come around, stay creative.